Alright, I got a video here on Open IPC. Haven't done one of these in a while. I got some new parts from EMAX. This is their updated Wyvern link hardware. And I did a video a while back on their receiver that connected to a smartphone, and more of a proof of concept type of product. They didn't make a whole lot of these, and that wasn't really meant for the mass market. But I'll link that video in the description in case you missed it. Now they are moving forward. They have a VRX now, a real one that you can actually connect up via HDMI to some goggles. I'm going to show you what it looks like on a little HDMI screen because my goggles, the screens are too small to see. But basically in this video, I'm going to show you their new VRX, which is technically a mass production product, but OpenIPC in general right now, because of the software limitations, I would consider still a beta product. There have been a lot of changes in OpenIPC. It's evolved quite a bit since the last video, and that's part of the problem. Is it's still evolving. Things are changing quite a bit. So there's things that I'd like to talk about, but it's kind of pointless to put into a video because literally in a week or two, a lot of things could change, and it just becomes completely obsolete. Like, as for example, they sent me a pre-production unit of this that had older software on it that's not compatible with this and the newer parts. So and to get everything to sync, where you have to update firmware and all that kind of stuff, is very convoluted. Yes, it can be done. You know, Mario FPV has made videos on how to do that. And if you want to know how to do that, I would recommend checking out his channel. You can go through the procedures as to how to do that over on his channel. But yeah, I'm not going to cover that because it's kind of pointless to make a video on all that stuff when it's just going to change in a few weeks, and then you have to remake a video, or you end up trying to answer a lot of questions from viewers that requires, you know, hours of research to be able to answer it. So I'm just going to say, go to the Open IPC website and get the latest information there. I'll link that in the description. I'll show you how this stuff is working for now. It is sent, at least the parts that they sent me are sent such that you can just basically turn it on, like I'll show you here, and it should work. You get video. I did not get any documentation on any of this stuff. They're going to send it to me at some point, but the embargo date's coming up really soon, and for reasons I can't get into in this video, I'm going to release this video without any flying footage because I don't have enough time to put this into a quad. And the VRX, or the VTX, this new 800 milliwatt VTX, is really large. I don't have a frame to put it in yet, or haven't found one that fits. So I'm going to figure that out at some point in the future. The other issue is that this particular VRX is kind of flaky. I'm not sure why. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't work. And I will power everything on here to show you that hopefully it'll work this time. But this doesn't always power up. So hopefully I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll turn this on here. Basically, just show you really quick. They've taken the receiver and then they put a redax in here. That's that other part that I showed earlier in a previous video, and then that gives you the HDMI out, so you put in some goggles. You get two antennas here, patch and omnidirectional barrel connector there. I think it's 2 to 6S or 2 to 4S for the voltage. You get your SD card for recording your footage, and you get some heat sink there. The fan's pretty loud. Get a USB-C, USB-C connector there, and I'm just going to connect this via HDMI over here to this monitor. I'm going to take this over to this here. I'm going to move the VTX over that way. Let's connect up this here. And I'm going to power up my monitor. I'm going to power up the VRX. So we should get some video here. Oh, the fan is loud, so it looks like this is going to power up. The 800 milliwatt VTX has I think the same camera as before. It just has some better antennas. I can see it's booting up now. This whole camera and the antennas and everything, and the VTX weighs about 76 grams. And it does have mounting holes, M2 screws for the 20 by 20 and 25 by 25 mounting holes. You see how wide long that is. Front to the back of the antennas is almost 55 millimeters. The width is about 35 millimeters, and the height's about 25 millimeters. Now, it didn't come with any documentation, but it had this plug on here with 4 connectors, and then the red and the black were on the outside. So I just made up my own little XT30 connector here, and I'm assuming it's going to be 2 to 6S. Got to plug that in. And I'm told that it's supposed to be on the same channel, the VTX and the VRX. So if you buy this, it will just, you'll just get video. And it does take a fair amount of time for it to connect. So there we go. It took about 30 seconds and got your video here. And it should, it's, I think it's 60 FPS out of the box. And you can see it's kind of laggy. It's a little glitchy because the antennas are very close together. And you can see there it's saying identifying flight controller because I don't have the RX and TX for the UART connected. But yeah, surprisingly it worked this time. I think about 1 out of every 3 times this doesn't power up properly. And there was a couple days ago I was trying to get this to work, and the VRX would turn on, but the fan would be like it sounded like at low power and very quiet, and I would get no video. So I'm wondering if it's temperature dependent, because I had been testing it for a bit, playing around with this setup here, trying to get this to work. So it's possible that it overheated. But now it's working today. I haven't touched this for a couple days, and I was hopeful that it would just power on, and it looks like it did. And in terms of the camera sensor and everything, that's all the same from before, and nothing has changed. It's just that now we have this VRX unit, and we have a new VTX here. It used to be 2 boards, and they've combined that into one solid unit with a fan and 800 milliwatts. I think the power output is supposed to be significantly better as well on the VTX. But again, I'm going to have to come up with a follow-up video at some point down the road where I can get this into a frame. I have dug up a number of old 5-inch frames to see if this would fit. The problem is the space between the back of the basically standoff behind the flight controller and the very back of the quads are not long enough for this particular VTX for the frames I have. So again, it's about 55 millimeters you need of clearance between the front of the VTX to the back for the antennas. And yeah, without that won't fit into a frame, regardless of the mounting pattern. But yeah, again, it works. If you're interested in Open IPC and you want to jump on board with some a VRX that work for your goggles, EMAX is now in the game. This is a lot smaller than the RunCam VTX or VRX. This is the RunCam one, and just putting it side by side next to the EMAX one. You can see it's significantly larger. The RunCam one is very, very loud, or very much bigger, but the EMAX fan is much louder than the fan on the RunCam. I don't know what kind of fan they're using in the EMAX, or why it needs to be so much faster. It's extremely loud. You can probably hear that, and I have to yell at the microphone here. You're wondering why I'm yelling. It's because I can't hear myself talk. This fan is just ridiculously loud. But yeah, it is a significantly smaller and lighter than the RunCam one. And if you missed that video, I'll link that one in the description as well. But it's nice to see that EMAX has come out with their own VRX hardware and updated VTX. It will allow, I guess, people that are interested in this project to do the updates and stuff as they come along over the next few months. And hopefully the software side will then improve. So with better hardware, you're going to get more people on board, and then you're going to see more improvements on the software side. I'm not sure why the development's so slow. I don't think there's enough developers there. They're working on it. The thing that needs to improve the most is doing the software updates in a manner that is easy for regular people. Like, basically try and get to the level where you do updates in the same way that you can do updates on a walk-snail VTX or VRX or a DJI Air unit, for example. That's the kind of level that they need to get to. It's not quite there yet. But we'll see in a few more months, and then maybe at my next Open IPC video as to whether or not we are there yet. I will have a follow-up video once I can find a frame to put this in, and I can get this on my goggles, and I can see how this feels in the air in terms of the latency. That'll be in a follow video down the road, hopefully soon. If you have any suggestions on a frame that'll fit this 55 millimeters front to back, let me know in the comments below. Would really appreciate that. And that'll do it for this one. Talk to you guys in the next video.